I'm sitting here thinking about how I used to worry all the time about money and dying, and I was worried about some things that I shouldn't even been worried about. It's like my mindset was, it was warped. It wasn't in a good place. I'm gonna tell you one thing that I did to transform my mindset. I read this book called The Power of Positive Thinking. That was the first book that I have ever read in its entirety because I hated reading. I hated reading. I hated reading. And I just, oof, I was just not in a good place mentally. I was not in a good place mentally. So today, what we're going to talk about is the old mindset will sabotage your new. The old mindset will sabotage your new. And that's the truth. Oh my gosh. I believe if I had not came across that book by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, I probably would not be this person right now. And of course, God had a lot to do with it because when I read that book, and actually that was the first book that I read outside of the Bible that had scripture in it. And when I read it, it done something to my spirit. It actually became one of my favorite books. Actually, it is one of my favorite books besides the Bible. And I can tell you, the Bible was not my favorite book. It was not, because I didn't understand it. This is before all these other versions of the Bible came out, and the only version that I had to study to go by was the King James version, or the King James version, and then the New King James version came, and I'm like, oh my God. And I really, when I tell y'all, I had to really ask God to help me to understand and know what these words meant. When I read the word, these thous and bees and beknownst and so that was not my favorite book. And I used to say all the time, the Bible is boring. I don't want to read that. The Bible is so boring. But then I started reading stories in that book. I was like, oh my God, this stuff happened back in the Bible days. But the power of positive thinking changed my whole outlook on life. And then I read the Bible with that book because I wanted to refer to the scriptures that the author had written in the book. I was referring to the Bible. Like one of the scriptures that he talked about in the book is Philippians 4:13, which is a familiar scripture. Maybe you have heard of it. And it says, I can do all things through Jesus Christ who strengthens me. And the key word in that scripture is can. Not can't, not maybe, not could, but can. And I did that. When I studied that scripture, I mean, that was one of the first scriptures that I actually committed to my memory. And I wanted to really know it. And I would apply it to anything that I did in my life. I would say, I can do this. God, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I said that. I would do. I mean, I repeat it over and over and over and over again. And then the more I repeated the word and the more I read the Bible and that book, The Power of Positive Thinking, the more I felt my brain shifting, like something was happening. You know, I began to watch my words and what I said and how I said it. But that's still kind of a struggle for me, a challenge. But I really understood and know that when you transform your thinking, your life begins to transform because your mind is transforming. Your thoughts are different. You're not thinking negative thoughts. And I used to be a person, I used to worry about a lot of stuff. I mean, I would worry for no reason. Like, just flat out worrying, like I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that and couldn't go. It was awful. It was awful. It was awful. It was awful. And once I got to a place where it was no effort to it, where I would wake up and I would just automatically have positive thoughts. I would think positively because I was intentional about it. And the more I said positive things, new things began to happen in my life. New opportunities, meeting new people, learning new things. If you got an old mindset, it's going to sabotage your new if you don't get your mindset right. Your mindset has to transform, not just change, but transform. And if you do that, you'll be well on your way. You'll be well on your way. And another thing that I'm gonna encourage you to do is write your thoughts down. Be just write down grateful statements. I try to do that every day. I try to write down 3 grateful statements every day. I try to write down 3 grateful statements every day. And then I go and I have another jar. This is my grateful jar. This is the one I put my new grateful statements in every day. I do my best to try to stick with it. And this jar right here is my jar that is also my grateful jar. That I did back in 2021. And I'll write 3 and I'll take out 3 and I'll, just remind myself what I wrote. And that's what also helped me to transform my mind, get rid of that old mindset, because I don't want whatever God is doing new in my life. I can't have the old mindset. That don't work. That don't go together. That don't match. So just remember that if you never read that book before, I recommend you reading that book. They actually have it on YouTube. You can listen to it for free, the full version. It takes about 3 hours to actually go through the entire book and listen to it. Don't just listen to it one time, but listen to it twice. Listen to it 3 times. Listen to it as many times you need to listen to it to transform your mindset and have a new mindset. Listen to that audiobook, or better yet, find a book and read it. I would encourage you to read it first and then listen to the audio. And write down 3 grateful statements every day. What you're grateful for now, what you're grateful for in the future, what you're grateful for that happened in the past. Just write it down. And you'll know in time. You probably won't even know when it will occur, but you'll know and you'll realize that, man, I don't think like that no more. And this happened the other day. You're going to be amazed at what's going to happen, what's going to take place. Well, this is Tasha Tanks. Thank you so much for being here on my channel, because I'm being who God created me to be. Nothing more, nothing less, where you're going to get real, raw, and relatable conversations. I am your domestic abuse coach. I share my story. 2-time domestic abuse survivor. And in my organization, No Longer Silent, we are shaking the silence around domestic abuse. Put a heart in the comments below to let me know that you're here with me and that you want your new life to spring forth because you're ready and you're willing. Until next time, I'll talk to you in the next video.